UFC Fight Night Fiziev vs. Gamrot. With how good the last card was, this was bound to be a dip in quality. My issue is why this had to be the card before a break, but oh well. So starting off the card. Rendon vs. Vidal. For a matchup with two fighters having a combined record of 13-1, you'd expect more quality. If this was a Contender Series fight, I wouldn't watch it, much less a fight night. Rendon is a boxer who has no power and fights in slow motion. She faces off against Vidal, whose stand-up consists mainly of overhands and body kicks. Vidal will more than likely close the distance, clinch her against the fence, and occasionally taking Rendon down. I'm picking Vidal. Inoue vs. Goldy. I'm surprised to see Goldy drop to straw weight. With how shredded she is, it wouldn't surprise me if she misses weight. Goldy has a short reach which sees her lose most striking exchanges. This has forced her to clinch and pull guard, but despite her strength she doesn't have the skills to utilize it. Her opponent Inoue is going to be faster and busier on the feet. Inoue tends to stand in boxing range since she has the eyes and reactions to avoid strikes. Even if Goldy manages to clinch her, Inoue is excellent in the clinch and will find ways to rack up damage. If Inoue avoids taking her down, I think this will be an easy win for her. Usman vs. Collier. Collier is a former middleweight fighting at heavyweight. He seems to be the go-to guy to pad the stats of French heavyweights. After Usman's last win over the dangerous Junior Tafa, the UFC might have saw it fit to prop up the tough winner and younger brother of Kamaru Usman. While Usman can be shaky on the feet, he is a fighter who commits to a game plan and has the power to finish and the wrestling to not get finished. Usman will get the job done. Malkoun vs. Brundage. I think this is the fight Brundage finally gets cut. Brundage has an heinous wrestling and striking style that makes him easy to read. I think Malkoun outworks him on the feet. When it goes to the grind, if Brundage ends up on bottom, he will most likely end the round there. Considering Brundage's his lack of heart and suspect chin, I think Malkoun will finish the fight via ground and pound. Means vs. Fialho. This is an easy one to pick. Both fighters are coming of a 3-fight skid, but Fialho is the one getting knocked out. Fialho is a boxer who isn't well-rounded. Even his boxing is pedestrian, only relying on head strikes. Means is a better boxer and has the experience to mix his strikes as well as strike into and out of the clinch. I think Means puts on a clinic. Argueta vs. Johns. This is the last fight of a disappointing prelim. Both fighters have a base in wrestling, but Argueta is the only one who makes use of it. Miles has turned into a counter power puncher who likes being against the cage. This plays into Argueta's game, which consists of pressuring his opponents to the side of the cage and wrestling to victory. There won't be much movement in the division after this, but I expect Argueta to win this. Ramos vs. Jourdain. Despite the excitement, Jourdain brings his deficiencies in his wrestling look to keep him out of the top 15. His opponent is a BJJ champ but never wrestles. If this fight remains standing, the bigger and more experienced striker in Jourdain will make quick work of Ramos. Battle vs. Fletcher. Don't let their records fool you, this won't be a display of MMA brilliance. Battle is a tough winner at middleweight who now fights at welterweight. He is primarily a kicker, and besides his submissions isn't good on the ground or against takedowns. It's going to be a kicker versus puncher matchup, as Fletcher is zombie-like puncher who marches forward till he gets a win. In this type of matchups, I have to go with Fletcher getting an ugly win. Rodriguez vs. Waterson. With both fighters coming off a loss and taking their age into consideration, I think it's safe to say title aspirations are long behind them. Much like the last fight, this is a kicker versus puncher matchup. The major difference is Waterson tends to throw her combos well out of range. Marina enjoys a health, height, and reach advantage that will allow her to bloody Waterson up. Marina will be winning this by decision. Ige vs. Mitchell. With Mitchell's domestic problems and issues with his weight cut, hopefully he makes it to the octagon. Ige has been a mainstay in the top 15, but his lack of athleticism has left him half a step behind his opponents. After watching his season of Tough, I have to admit I never imagined Mitchell making it this far. He has really upped his aggression when going for takedowns and has cut straight through the division. His major problem is that he mentally checks out when he can't get his opponent down. Fortunately for him, I don't think Ige has the ability to stop him. This will be a return to form for Mitchell. Fiziev versus Gamrot. I'm a fan of both fighters and a bigger fan of the matchup. Both fighters were surging through the ranks only to lose their career-making fights in Justin Gaethje and Beneil Dariush. With how stale and inactive the top 5 is at the moment, neither man can afford to lose. I know that Fiziev has a 90% takedown defense, but Gamrot has a variety of takedowns, especially from catching wayward kicks. This, coupled with his clinch grappling, will negate the small difference in their stand-up. It's always going to be auto match when fighters close in ranking fight, but with how well-rounded Gamrot has proven to be, he will surely shine through.